You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Miss Stacey Tisdale. Good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. Love being here.
Yeah, so Stacey Tisdale and I and Envy, we're doing the Wealth Wednesdays at Juices for Life. And the next one is going to be, the first one where we kick it off is this Wednesday. And this one is focusing on investing and teaching your kids basically how to invest. Even if you've never done it before and it's intimidating for you, we're going to teach you how you can get started.
Yeah, it's about helping your kids develop a set of financial values. And when you think about it, I think there's only 16 states in the United States that teach financial education. So a lot of it's going to fall on the parents. Mm-hmm. But starting kids young, help them developing good money habits. And also, when you teach your kid, you're going to learn a lot about yourself.
I never understood why in schools we teach like geometry, algebra, but they don't teach finances. They don't teach you how to invest in the stock market. They don't teach you about mortgages. They don't teach you any of those things, accounting, that is really important for real life.
And in addition, there's so much more to money than just dollars and cents. You have to teach kids how they're going to be targeted by the media, how they're going to be encouraged to spend money. You have to teach them, men and women have different attitudes and relationships about money. It's interesting because, we have the Winning Plays financial education program, and it's an award-winning program that's designed to teach kids some of those non-financial influences. In one of the classes, we have the kids look at a case study of how a man and a woman are treated differently when they go into a car dealership.
So true.
But the question you got to ask, it's not, okay, that's how the world's going to treat me, but why do we fit the profile? You have to ask your girls, why don't you know the fair market value of this before you go into the car dealership? And there's all sorts of issues that men have with money as well. And something that really comes to mind, I was watching the class being taught at an inner city high school, and we start the class on gender. Cambridge University did this study that when a man is unemployed, after 6 weeks, they actually start going into a physiological depression. We started talking to the kids about that, and this boy just said out of the blue, and we were talking about how women, you're kind of conditioned to be nurturers. Men are conditioned to be those providers and protectors.
They're breadwinners.
Yeah, and when they can't do that, what
Protect
it really
and
does
provide,
to them.
that's our job.
So this kid says, maybe that's why my father left. And the teacher was like, what's the link you're making there? He's like, if he can't do the one thing he's supposed to do, maybe he felt like we were better off without him. And then the whole conversation blew up in the class. They're talking about how, like in lions, actually, when the male starts taking resources away from the group, they leave. So we started talking about if you can't contribute financially, what are some of the other ways that you can provide support and education to your child? So we love Winning Plays because there's a lot more to money than dollars and cents, and you have to start teaching your kids this stuff young.
It's interesting you said they target the women more when you go into car dealerships.
No, not that they target, but they treat you differently as a woman. Like
I've
always been taught when I was younger, if you want to go get a car, you have to bring a man with you because they respect men more when you go in a car dealership, and it's very true. Like,
what do you think?
You get higher interest rates. I mean, there's research out there. Women get higher interest rates. They get higher prices. It's the same with all types of loans. Blacks, we look at how race plays out in your financial experience too. Black people get higher rates. They get charged higher prices. That was one of the things we saw in the whole mortgage crisis, the predatory lending thing. So you got to teach kids not only about money, but you have to give them a sense of how the world is seeing them so that they can go into the world.
But I'm just trying to figure out why is that, though?
I think people assume that women don't know about cars.
Oh, yeah.
And they can take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was only like in the 80s. I didn't think that still happened now.
No, it definitely still. When I just went and got my car.
No, I really didn't know that.
It's all the time. Men and women have completely different financial experiences, and they relate to money differently. You got to teach kids how to have healthy conversations about money. And for one of the messages I'm so excited that Angela and I are doing this is because it gets people talking about money. People have an easier time talking about sex than money, and it doesn't serve our children well. We have to show them how to have productive conversations.
But isn't the cost of something the cost of something?
No, you can negotiate.
No, negotiate.
And your interest rate, too. You can negotiate that as well. It's not like when you
I just want to know what these studies are. I just don't want to just throw things out there.
Envy, if I call Envy and I'm like, Envy, I need to get a car. He'll get me a better deal than I could.
And part of it is because he got a relationship with a car dealer.
Part of it is his relationship to car dealers.
And I do the homework, though.
But even, and you have to do your homework, too. But even if I have my dad call.
But don't we all got to do our homework? Like, they're not going to just give me a better interest rate because I'm a guy.
I got relationships, and I'll call 9 different dealerships to get the best. Like, I really, this is my business, so I enjoy cars, and I enjoy music. So those things I always make sure that I get the best price.
And by the way, whenever I buy those big purchases and stuff like that, my wife always gets the best deals because she does the homework.
Right.
That's exactly what you have to do. You got to stress to kids. You got to know the fair market price before you go in there. Same
But
thing
it's
with
also
buying a
just
house, buying anything.
Really how they treat you when you come in. Like sometimes they'll look at you as a woman and more or less they'll assume that you don't really know what you're talking about.
Oh, I get treated nasty.
Who says that though?
I
Like,
get treated
I'm trying to
horribly.
figure out where. Like, man,
But I thought I got treated horribly because usually I come in there with my pants hanging off my ass and a baseball hat on, and they like, this guy possibly doesn't have the money to buy whatever it is.
I
I'm
can
trying
see
to buy.
that before I see you just walking as a woman.
No, I mean, it's the same thing like with the pay gap. Men and women getting the exact, different salaries for doing the same
The
job.
exact
It's
same
up to
job.
the woman to know going in, this is what I'm worth. This is what this job is paying. And all sorts of stuff. We have different relationships, different experiences with money based on gender, based on race. It's not the same world.
Yeah.
And these are the types of things you have to teach kids. So your conversations about, when you're teaching kids about money, there's 3 real things that have to be in place. Example, you have to be the role model your kids need us to be. And that's one of the reasons Angela and I named this first conversation, Teach Your Kid, Teach Yourself. Because parents, I say the first thing you got to do is come up with what are the 5 most important things I want my child to know about money when it comes to saving, when it comes to investing, when it comes to debt. And then, what are the biggest financial mistakes my child want to avoid? Talk about these things with your spouse if that's an option. Write it down. And have these types of conversations with your kids. But most important, when you see that, and I've done the research, that early role modeling has a huge impression on what your kids are going to do when they're adults. So then the big question for you becomes, what do I have to do in my own life to walk my talk? And that's where it can become a very intimate and wonderful experience with your child as you look at the family financial picture together.
Right. Now, I was going to say, even when you think about, like, for all of us in this room, just think about how our parents lead by example, right? Like, my parents bought one house ever in my whole life, right? And that was it. So when it was time for me to buy a house, they were very cautious about what I was doing. I had to do all the research myself. I didn't have my parents to go to and say, well, what should I do? They actually tried to discourage me. And now I think it was a great investment. Obviously, my house is worth like 50% more than what I paid for it. But aside from that, I was talking to one of our interns, and she was telling me she didn't want to get a credit card because in her head, credit cards are a bad thing. It just means that you're in debt, and I don't want to have that debt. I don't want to get a credit card and put myself in debt. But I had to explain to her that you can get a credit card that's actually going to help you later on in life when you have to establish credit and show that you have a history of paying for something on time, and establishing that having a credit card doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm going to owe all this money if you're responsible with it. And that's something too that people don't understand, I think, when
That's
they're
a
young.
really good point. I took a mother and daughter on the Today Show once. The girl was 13 years old, and the mother had given her a secured credit card. And everybody balked. Why in the world would you give a 13-year-old a credit card? Well, first of all, a secured credit card, you can't go into debt. The money comes right out of your account. So essentially what this mother did was teach her daughter how to use a credit card. Every time they'd use it, they'd write it down in the check register, just like you write down a check. And it just taught her daughter, the implications of credit cards, why you could get in trouble. They started communicating about it. The mother talked to her daughter about the own problems she had run into with credit cards. And it's just like, I liken it to teaching kids good study habits. It's constant effort. You have to, just stay on it. But this whole kids aren't learning about money in school. Parents are kind of weird about talking to money about their kids. And then we expect them to know how to manage it. And it's really disturbing statistic. According to Nellie Mae, high school seniors are entering college with an average $1,585 in credit card debt. And they're leaving college with over $3,000 in credit card debt. Now add to that student loans. And a lot of it, I saw one report, it just blew my mind. A lot of kids didn't realize that you had to pay credit cards back. I mean, this is a financial literacy issue, and that's one of the reasons we're working so hard to bring this Winning Place financial education program to the community.
Well, most parents can't talk to their kids about saving money because they really just living check to check, and they're just trying to keep food on the table. They got bills to pay. Like, they're not saving
That's
money.
what they should be talking to their kids about. Look, I'm having these kind of struggles because these are the things I didn't do. These are the things I didn't learn. And one of the lessons in Winning Plays, the kids has to go home and interview their parents and ask them, what are the biggest financial mistakes you make? What are the things you wanted me to avoid? The conversations are so intimate it's incredible, and those
Yeah,
things
'cause the
have a
parents gonna look at the
tremendous
kids and say, "You,
impact.
you,
you're the biggest
having you
expense.
young as hell is what caused this."
But you know what?
That's
As a
a
kid,
conversation.
but as a kid growing up, I think it was taboo to talk about your bills with your kids. You know, I never knew how much my parents' mortgage was or what the notes were. I didn't know, you know, and they didn't never told me. It was kind of secret. But I think nowadays, I think to have a child that is a great investor and knows his money, you have to have those conversations.
But
My
most people
kids-
having those conversations are parents who already have money.
like my kids know
Like
how much
parents
the
with
mortgage
money
is.
are having those
My
conversations
kids have
with
credit cards.
Right.
You know, I
you
have
got
a
money.
13 and 15-year-old. But even if I didn't have money, I would give them that because I was blindsided when I bought my first house. My interest rate was 17%. I didn't know what it was.
17%.
But what happened was I called Busta Rhymes because I knew Busta.
Look at this.
story is
This is a
crazy
very
right here.
privileged
No, but I'm
conversation.
gonna tell you, I did not know. So I called Busta. I was like, Busta, I need a guy to get me a loan. Now Busta's credit, I'm sure at the time wasn't that good, so he gave me this guy that was getting Busta, and now he got me. So now mine was 17%.
And imagine if you
And I
could have
thought
went
that
to your
was normal.
parents and
I thought that
asked
was
your
normal.
parents.
You know what I mean? I don't think my parents knew. They just
Right.
whatever it was. But
that's
I
why
had
it's
to learn
important.
on my own. Same thing with the credit cards. I had to learn on my own about interest rates and things like that. But I gave it to my kids dumb early, so they know what it is. They know what their interest rate should be.
Learn from your
They know
mistakes.
what how much they should spend if they make $10. $7 should go into savings, and then $3 can go into playing. Like they learn that.
I think it's easy to have those conversations when you got money. Because
Yeah,
when you
but
don't
it's
have
more
money and your
important-
kids come to you and be
it's-
like, "How much is the mortgage?" Nigga, don't worry about it. You got a roof over your head,
But that's
right?
why it's important. What
That's-
we're
You got
why
food on
it's-
the table, don't you?
No, but even having money, I used to say that. None of your business. And then people be like, no, if your son wants to learn, teach him, show him. And now he makes his own money. He sells his own slime, sells Madden coins. He goes to the Five Below store, goes buy a candy, sells them in the school. Like he does that on his own.
It's really important, like what Angela was saying, even if you don't have money, your kids are watching, they're going to learn. Is one of the things in communication is a lot of people only have conversations about money when they're having problems. So their kids have no idea how to have productive conversations about money, and they think that every time they have a conversation about money, it's going to be a fight. It's not just if I have money, we should be doing this. You have to talk to your kids about the problems and help them develop good habits early. And we're very excited because we're having a woman, Laura Balin, join us on Wednesday, and she's the CEO of Kids Fund. Everybody get this app. Go to kidfund.us and get this saving app for your kids. You save money, and it goes into a savings account's opened at U.S. Alliance Financial. Your kid can contribute money. You can contribute money. You invite friends to contribute money. What I like about this is it's technology kids are already using, so it makes saving as easy as spending money.
And it's insured.
It's insured, FDIC insured, $250,000 of deposits. But the first $500 that goes into this account gets a 3% interest rate. And that's a lot better than you're doing in regular savings accounts. And I really love the charitable component of this app because you figure out how much, but a portion of what you're saving goes to the one-to-one fund, which help kids in low-income communities across the country open college savings accounts. And you can just go to kidfund.us. It takes minutes to download the app and open the account, but it's one of I think the best savings apps I've seen. And these are the habits we have to get kids into early.
And that's why that's important with the Wealth Wednesdays. Even as a parent, if you've never saved money or haven't developed those habits or haven't had a great relationship with money, never talked to your kids about it, it's kind of a starting point for you. So it's not so intimidating. So you get to learn things, pass those things on to your kids, and your kids are learning. But it's important for you to learn those things, or else how are you going to talk to your kids about it?
But you got to look at the world our kids are growing up in today. This is the first generation in history that's been less financially well off than their parents. They're saddled with over $1 trillion in student loan debt. So by the time your kid is in their early teens, you have to be talking to them about your family financial infrastructure. We have to figure out how you're going to go to college. We have to start looking at alternatives. Maybe you're going to go to a community college for 2 years and then to a university for 2 years. This is what I can contribute. It's real now. It's very real now. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame for kids than it used to be, and it's just not fair for us to put them out there without helping them be prepared.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, we definitely appreciate you for joining us.
And we're going to be doing this Wednesday. Actually, we're doing this every month. So next month, October 11th, we're doing a whole thing with Google at Juices for Life, and they're going to be teaching small businesses how to use digital marketing and all digital advertising to promote their businesses. Maybe something you never considered if you have a small business, just how you can do that. But just every month, we're doing a different theme. So this month, we are kicking it off.
Teach your children, teach yourself. And again, this is for also benefits the Winning Place Financial Education Program. And This is all about investing in our communities. This is a financial empowerment campaign that we're doing. So this week, just for this week, if you go to winningplays.org, Angela and I will also be posting buttons on our social media and donate $10 to Winning Plays. This is an investment in the community. I will give to you for free my You Don't Need to Be Rich to Invest webinar. Just go to winningplays.org, and we're going to donate that to you for free just for participating in this.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us and helping our kids. And I would also say for parents out there, do a challenge. You know, if you have $20, go to the Five Below store and do a challenge. See who can flip the money, and then whoever flips the money, buy them a pair of sneakers or buy them something that they want. That teaches those kids how to develop and how to get those skills. I do it with my kids all the time, and they love it.
All right. And never think that it's too late for you to learn about better financial habits. Sometimes people think, oh, this isn't for me. I'm not good with money, but you can be. Anybody can be. Right.
We are here to help, and you can follow us for more information at Tisdale1.
All right. It's The Breakfast Club. It's Stacey Tisdale.